Yo, what is going on? We are back. Alright, so we're testing out Palkia. So far, I'm loving it. I do wish I could fit a choice belt Arvin for the 290, 280 KOs. Um, some other thoughts are like cross switchers, but it's hard to fit everything in here. Hirita's awesome. Thought about adding Melanie, but it's hard to fit everything in here. I'm gonna go casual because I'm trying to still figure this deck out. I'm still trying to figure out all my matchups, but yeah, so far it's been doing really good.
Action.
Cut.
Cut.
I'm playing zombie too.
Good. Go around. Have to. One, two.
Jesus Christ. The hell going on here, bro? What are the fucking chances? What the fuck? This is so insane, bro. What? 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 What the hell is going on, bruh? Holy fuck. Well, if I get an Arita, I mean... Yeah, it's not looking too good, sis. Yeah, it really ain't. Well. Honestly, if he's not playing Palkia, what the fuck is that? What the fuck is going on? Is he really trying to Aqua Storm with that much amount? Bruh. That's really funny, man. Really fucking funny. Let's go with this. And let's go with Alright, we cooking, we cooking. Let's go with oh my god. I don't even have the Manaphy in here, bruh. Alright, I have to dig for the I don't have the heavy ball in here, bruh. What the fuck? Holy shit. That's not looking good. Things. I hate this so much right now. The only boss I have too. Fuck. What? Man, he might have cooked himself out, bruh. Cause you look at okay, he may have one copycat left. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He wouldn't be able to do it this turn. Okay, okay. But like, bro, where's his? Does he even play Recycler? Okay. Yo. Come on, bro. Don't play with yourself. Copycat, really? Oh my god.
$100,000 on the dash, all blues, all cash, but believe a nigga.
Oh shit! I didn't even know that was coming from. Judgy. Had I known. Aha! Palkia, this. Bro, Palkia would destroy him. Would destroy him.
Hello and welcome back to TGTV. So as you all will know, this is a very, very sensible channel. I like to put out loads of really useful consumer advice. And a lot of questions people are asking me surround what is it like to live with a GT3 RS? Is it a sensible car to daily? Is it a sensible car to go and get the milk in? Yeah, is it a pain in the arse? So let's go and find out. Let's go for a little drive. I'll tell you around some of the features and I'm going to let you know whether or not I find this thing a pain in the arse. Let's go. Okay, so we're in the RS, we are in town, and I must admit, I know a lot of you want me to go out and do track days non-stop. I do actually spend quite a lot of time in this thing, just pootling around in town, much to the bemusement of other people when I'm sat in traffic with that bloody wing on the back. But I do spend a huge amount of time in this car, in town, parking, traffic, blah, blah, blah. Most of you would probably think that this thing is an absolute nightmare to have around town. And I must admit, with the GT4 that I had before, or maybe I didn't have it, I found that thing to be extremely annoying. GT4 was extremely annoying. Did not like that car at all. And to be honest with you, that's my fault, that's my problem, because I bought a track car and then used it around town. Moron. So I did have some reservations before I got this. I won't go into what happened to the GT4 because I don't even know anymore. So I had some reservations before getting this car. And yeah, I must admit, I'm very, very pleasantly surprised because it is actually very tolerable to deal with. It's a lot more pleasant than the GT4, I find. The seats, first things first, are exactly the same as the GT4. So they are the 918 bucket seats with the carbon and all the snazzy jazz on them, and the harnesses which are sitting between my legs, threatening to castrate me at any moment. But no, all jokes aside, the seats in this are actually really comfortable. They look horrendous, but they're nowhere near as bad as the Lamborghini SV seats. They look like this, but these are actually really comfy. I've done 3-4 hour journeys in this car, absolutely fine, and no more spine pain than I usually get.
What
my
the
back
fuck?
is in bits. Oh.
You're crazy, man.
Okay, and that leads me on to the next point, which is there's a dip in the road. Going around town, speed bumps, driveways, car parks, all that kind of crap. Nose lift in this car is absolutely essential, and that was the main bugbear about that bloody GT4. It didn't have nose lift. Again, more for me. I mean, I'm using a track car around town, so I'm a Burke. Oh, Christ. But this thing does have nose lift, and I would say anyone speccing one of these, not that you can spec them anymore, but if you're looking for one, don't get one without nose lift, if indeed anyone's ever spec one without nose lift, because it is crucial. It does mean that you can use speed bumps, but without the nose lift, forget about it, you've crunched the front. Although that said, on the front of the car there is a plastic ring around the bottom that you'll see, and they're actually only 130 quid, so it's not the end of the world if you do scrape that thing on the floor. But yeah, it does amuse pedestrians when you scrape the thing on the floor because they think you've damaged your car, and they tend to enjoy that. So nose lift is crucial, and in this car it works very, very well. Button's right here and it goes up very, very quickly and goes down very, very quickly. It is not like the McLaren nose lift, which seems to take about 3 weeks to go up and down. And it works up to 30 miles an hour as well. So it's pretty handy, it's good. Well done, Porsche. We like that. More boring stuff about the usability of this car. The other day it was 35 odd degrees Celsius, and I was in this thing. Aircon, fantastic, absolutely brilliant. It's just like a normal 911's aircon. All the gadgets in here is actually what you'd find in a normal 911. Very, very usable indeed. And I think you can spec this car without the PCM, so the Porsche, I don't know how they call it, but the screen and the sat nav and all that kind of stuff. You can spec it without that, but you'd be a Burke too. You'd be a Burke to spec it without that. Even if you use it as a track car, presumably you have to get to the track. So yeah, don't be a prat. Not spec either of those things. So I'm pretty crap at parking. It's not my idea of fun. I don't really like it, especially in London. But yeah, there's no camera, there's no sensors. And if you come from other cars that all have cameras and all have sensors, suddenly you get in this thing with a big wing on the back, making a load of noise, really, really wide. The wheels are made of unobtainium from the planet Zog, and if you scrape them, you've lost £1 million. It all gets quite stressful. So parking sensors and parking camera, yeah, kind of pisses me off it doesn't have them. But there we go, I sound like a sport brat, but I'm being honest, that is probably the most annoying thing about this car. In terms of other boring things, visibility, not amazing, but you can still see the blind spot at the back. The wing doesn't really get in the way too much. You're aware of it, but you get used to it. You can see out of everything, and it's all quite good. Long journeys and kind of cabin noise. Again, nice old man talk. It is quite noisy in here. The back windows are actually plastic. Am I going through a red light? Hey, who cares? It's TGTV. So the back windows are actually plastic, and the rear windscreen is plastic as well. Porsche say it's weight saving, but I just think they're being cheap swines. So yeah, there's a lot of road noise, and also there's no real sound deadening between the engine, which is literally over there in the back. You can hear everything going on. So it sounds like someone's shaking a bag of nails in your ear when you're driving around, which I quite like. It's quite kind of a visceral, raw experience. But yeah, but it's by no means quiet. Ride quality should probably be mentioned. It is quite crashy if you go through potholes like that. I now need surgery on my shoulder as a result of that pothole back there. But no, the ride quality is exactly what you'd expect. I mean, it's a track car, and that's what you get really. But it's not that bad. It isn't that bad. It's okay. It's livable with. It's no worse than my Mini, to be fair, which I do still have, by the way. It's not in the sea. I still do have that Mini, and I will be doing a review on it. So anyway, cabin noise, pretty noisy, but I don't really care. I quite like that. So another kind of bugbear of mine, I have flagged this before, and it's not just a problem with this car. It's a problem with pretty much every car I own. On the front of the car, there's a very particular issue, but the number plate keeps falling off. Look, I mean, it's sat in here, it's made of bacon, I don't know what's going on. And that is definitely the car's fault. It's nothing to do with me. It's definitely an issue with the car, and it's definitely an issue with all of my supercars. My Defender seems to be fine. But yeah, this car just will not keep a front plate on it. I've tried, I've done my best, and it's fallen off and turned into ham, so what can you do? Oh yeah, so luggage space. I did a practicality test with the F12, I don't know if any of you saw it, whereby I put some everyday items in the boot of the F12 to kind of demonstrate how practical the F12 is. So I managed to wedge, I think it was 8 boxes of Yeezys in the boot of the F12. I haven't conducted a strict test with this, but I think you can only manage 3 pairs or so. That said, there is quite a lot of space behind the seats. In the roll cage, you can stuff stuff in there. I think it tells you not to, but you can stuff a load of stuff in there. You could probably stuff a small child in there as well. I think if you had an accident, I don't know how well it would go, but you probably could stuff a small child on the back of this. So thumbs up in terms of practicality in storage space in this. Other boring crap like fuel economy. I mean, I don't really know how to check, and I don't really care. I know the F12 didn't tell me what the fuel economy was, but I can only assume it was appalling and in single figures most of the time, and this will be no exception. I don't seem to be going through fuel as much as the F12 did, and that's probably because it's a 4-litre engine and not a 6 point whatever it is. So, fuel economy, I mean, if you're thinking about fuel economy when you're buying one of these, guess you're more of a buck than I am. And I think that's probably pretty much it. If any of you got any questions, let me know. let me know in the comments. I do get in the pot in comments as well. So if you comment something silly, I will be rude to you. Or I'll be, you know, considerate and polite and supportive if you've been pleasant. But... Ah! You genuinely nearly just died. I was not in control at any point there. Anyway, I don't know what I was saying, but I think I was tailing off and ending the video. Sorry, I got very distracted. All the negative points, basically, that I've said are totally outweighed by the fact that this car is an absolute weapon. It's brilliant. And for all the negative points, if any, I don't really care about them. This thing going around corners at speed hurts your organs as well. Can I say that? Is that a negative practicality point? Who knows? I've gone with it. Alright, yeah. End of the video. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you want to see more stuff. 720S is landing very, very soon. And I will do some probably slightly more professional reviews of that. Or maybe they'll be worse than this one. Who knows? See how I feel. The 720S is coming very, very soon. And this is going to be one of the last appearances of this car, which I'm a little bit gutted about, but a little bit excited to get the McLaren. So we shall see. At the moment, I have absolutely no idea when it's turning up. It could be a week, it could be 2 months. Yeah, it's a guessing game at the moment. But anyway, I digress. Thanks for watching. Thumbs up, subscribe, blah, 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 and I'll see you again soon. Bye.
We continue the story of the Porsche 911 GT3, this time with the 991.1 and .2 generation. We discuss how the car was created and how it evolved.
My name is Andreas Bräuninger, and I'm the director of the GT cars in Porsche Development Center in Weissach. Most of the people entering a GT3, you could describe the situation. Normally, your pulse quickens, your heart starts racing before you turn the key. And this is what many customers tell me all the time. It's for them, it's an experience they're looking forward to. It's an experience that they use as their own reward after a hard day of working, or at the weekend when you just go driving for the sake of driving. The last thing, at least that goes for me, when you get out of the car after a good drive, I mostly turn around just to look at it again, and sometimes I even pat it on the roof a little bit.
Inside the 991 generation GT3s, and before we head into the shop to walk you through the technical differences between the .1 and .2 iterations of this vehicle, I thought it was important to show you what these cabins are like to live with and the subtle differences between the two generations. Both the .1 and the .2 have largely the same cabin, and that's because they're both based on the 991 generation 911. So what does that leave you with? Well, it means you have one of the more practical dedicated sports car cabins. You have great frontward visibility, good headroom, and clever storage solutions found throughout this vehicle. You have a good-sized front trunk, good in-car storage solutions like the door cards or the rear storage space behind the front seats. Speaking of seats, in both generations of GT3, you have two seat options, either a bucket seat like these carbon buckets, which may look uncomfortable, but they are actually very, very good on longer drives. However, ingress and egress is a little difficult, or you have a more regular, let's call it touring seat, which is electronically adjustable. The key differences between these cars is some of the updates in interior design language, like the steering wheel change. The .1 has a much bigger wheel than the .2, some of the design material changes found throughout the cabin, and the updates to infotainment. Not surprisingly, the .2 has a much more modern infotainment system with things like Apple CarPlay, not to mention the fact that the screens found in both the gauge cluster and the infotainment system itself have been vastly improved. The inputs in this car are all physical, and this is something that Porsche vastly improved. The inputs in this car are all physical, and this is something that Porsche has gone away from. They've started to hybridize the control structure and added physical and touch. This is not the case in this generation 911. Everything you interact with, whether it be your drive modes, HVAC controls, or infotainment controls, all have a physical switch associated with them. The last thing I want to talk about before we head into the shop are the inputs. Everything in both of these cars feels spectacular, whether that be the steering wheel itself, the shifter. This is one of the best manual shifters I've ever used. However, the PDK has a nice physicality behind it, and pedal box are textbook perfect. So with that said, let's head into the shop.
Doing an unpaid retrospective on a previous generation GT3 car that is no longer sold new required some collaboration. First, we worked with Porsche North America and Germany. Gentlemen like Luke and Frank helped us to get the interviews with the creators of this car. Then we worked with Motorworks of Barrington, our local Porsche dealership, who's sold many new Porsche products to our viewers. They helped get the 991.1 and .2 on the lift to take them apart, to show us how these cars were assembled, so we can then explain all the technical information to you. Then our viewers, like Elvis and Chris, who supplied their 991.2s for a street and a track drive. And it's all these moving pieces that really is a community effort that now allows us to break down the mechanical attributes of this car, starting with the suspension.
So let's talk about what they did to suspension, Mark, before we get into the aerodynamics. At least in the front, this is a strut front suspension. They have an interesting hybrid lower control arm with two individual links to the lower knuckle. The knuckle itself is all aluminum, and you have a Bilstein damper with Bilstein springs that are height adjustable and adaptive.
And the body of this car from the previous generation.
My fan. What the hell? Oh, got it. Still got a switch. Got 12 cards. I can mill all of them. Let's start with this. Peace out. Okay, I'm done.